I know there are things that you are not in favor of, this ballot harvesting, this mail-in ballots.
It's all terrible.
All of this, but those are the rules of the game right now.
That's right.
Is the Republican Party going to play that game better than the Democrats, or are they going to be complaining about it and get beat at the game with the rules that are in play right now?
It shouldn't be allowed. It's a whole different mindset.
But it is.
You're right. Republicans like to go there on Tuesday and vote in person, and that's been for a long time, many years, decades. It's a custom almost. It's a family custom. It's a beautiful thing. The Democrats play a different game. And you have ballot harvesting, but you also have people getting ballots. I mean, in California, you have people getting 7 ballots, Democrats. For instance, I look at California. I gave a speech. I had a crowd so big. I said, there's no way I could lose California, but automatically they mark it down if you're a Republican as a loss, that you lose by 5 million votes. I said, 5 million votes? I guarantee, if Jesus came down and was the vote counter, I would win California, okay? In other words, if we had an honest vote counter, a really honest vote counter, I'd do great with the Hispanics, great. I mean, at a level that no Republican's ever done. But if we had an honest vote counter, I would win California.
You think so?
Oh, I think so. I do. I see it. I go around California. They have Trump signs all over the place. It's a very dishonest. Everything is mail-in. They send out 38 million ballots. I think it is around 36, 38 million ballots. They send them. When you go into a good place, because we have a lot of very honest places too. You go out to the Midwest, you go to Iowa and Idaho and, places that they wouldn't even think about it. It's a very honest system. But think of it, 38 million, they don't have a voting booth. But when you go in, even in Florida, I went in to vote in Palm Beach. They know who I am, but still, sir, may I see you this? May I see you that? May I see your card? They look at you, everything. I said, it would be really very tough to cheat. In California, they don't do anything. All they do is you get a card and you're supposed to send it back. So that has to go through a mailman. It has to go through all these different things. And many people, and I'm sure you've heard this, many people get many more than one ballot. And they vote them. They'll send in 7 ballots.
But if those are the rules,
you have to win.
Then should the Republicans play hard under those rules?
The Republicans should have played much harder over the years. And this is 10, 12 years ago. It started, look, France had mail-in ballots. They went away from them because people were cheating. Anytime you have a mail-in ballot, there's going to be massive fraud. And Jimmy Carter, who's the happiest man alive today because his administration is brilliant by comparison to Harris and Biden. I put her now first because I think Biden is like gone. I don't even know where he is. He's like at a beach someplace in California. But Jimmy Carter was put in charge of a study commission with some very dignified people, very highly regarded people, senators, retired senators. And their primary conclusion was you can't have mail-in ballots. If you have mail-in ballots, there will be cheating. And this is Jimmy Carter, and he's right, 100%. What we have to do is get control, and then we have to change it. And it's a very simple change. Same-day voting. Everybody votes. Remember the old days? Everybody would go. It was a Tuesday. You'd go. You'd vote. Even if you declare a holiday, a voting holiday, which would be fine. But same-day voting. But importantly, paper ballots. No machines that go up to space and whatever happens, happens. Voter ID. The Democrats don't want voter ID and proof of citizenship. You have to be a citizen. But we won a very important Supreme Court case where essentially you have to be a citizen to register to vote. It's a big win because they're registering. They're trying to register people that just came into our country from the border, from the open border. You can't have open borders, and you have to have great elections. In other words, you need borders to have a country that's a great country. You need borders, and you need fair elections.
You ran against Biden for a while, then you switched and are now running against Kamala Harris. Was there a cover-up about Biden not being competent?
Oh, sure.
And how wide was this cover-up? How wide did this have to be? Was the media involved? We saw people going on television and others say, I meet with him every day, he's sharp, he's a bull, he's doing this. And I think everybody determined, and it's not his fault for aging, that's just part of the problem. It's not his fault for aging. I'm wondering, was there a cover-up? How many people were involved? Was there a conspiracy here? I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but was there a conspiracy? And who was involved in it? And if there was that kind of conspiracy, how do you trust those people going forward?
Well, just to make people feel better that are a certain age, I know many people that are 90, that are 93, 94, 95. A good example is somebody like Bernie Marcus. He's 95 years old, founder of Home Depot. And I was with him not so long ago. Look, I mean, it's a certain point, but he's sharp. He's so sharp mentally. I know many people in their 90s that are sharp. I know many, many people in their late 80s that are like really sharp. And he's 81. It's just not old, you know, in terms of what we're talking about.
People are different. I mean, they age differently. Their brains are different.
Well, he also had operations, in all fairness, which I understand makes a difference. But yeah, there was absolutely a conspiracy, but it was really manifested during the debate. We had debate. The debate was the highest rated debate ever. So I think people were really maybe looking to see if there's any truth to that. The ratings on that debate were through the roof. And I think I performed very well, but he didn't perform well. And it was, that was the beginning of the end. Then he tried to go on various shows to show his mental acuity, so to speak. And he didn't do very well. And they were all setups. George Slobodopoulos, they were all like setups. In other words, easy questions like, what's your favorite dessert? Do you like vanilla ice cream and stuff? They were easy. And he didn't do great. Got by, but it really started with the debate. And then a poll came out. The Democrats had a poll that showed I was up 17 points after the debate. And they went to him and they said, you're going to lose. You saw that, where they said, you're going to lose. You can't win anymore. You're going to lose. And we want you out. Nancy Pelosi went. I know the whole thing because I know people on the other side. You know, I have some very good friends on the other side. Hard to believe, isn't it? And they went to him and they said, we want you out. And we can do it the nice way or the hard way. And we can use the 25th Amendment. We can use the 24th Amendment. We can use all sorts of amendments and get you the hell out. It was nasty. It was very nasty. And he was very angry. But ultimately he said, he's going to have to leave. And then they gave him his nicer way out, but he was very angry about it. And you know what? He if you go back 25 years, he was not the sharpest person. But he did win the primaries. Say what you want. He got 14 million votes. She got no votes. She never even made it to Iowa. She didn't get one vote. He got 14 million votes.
Have you talked to him since he stepped down?
No, I really don't talk to him. I've always been sort of angry. You know, we talk about Secret Service. He always made it very tough for us to have the proper number of Secret Service people. And I don't know whose fault it is, but I will tell you, I'd have these massive rallies with 50, 60,000 people or more. And our people were always fighting to get more security, more Secret Service. And he knew that we didn't have enough. And he'd have a rally of 3 or 4 people. I mean, nobody would go. If he had a rally, if he got 20 people, it was a lot. Nobody would go. They'd stand on a road and they'd look for people to try and be there, like he had somebody behind him. And yet he had a massive contingent of Secret Service. And I know that they wanted to have his people come over to these big rallies that I was having, and I know that it was a very tough situation. So, when this happened, people would ask, whose fault is it? I think to a certain extent it's Biden's fault and Harris's fault. And I'm the opponent. Look, they were weaponizing government against me. They brought in the whole DOJ to try and get me. They weren't too interested in my health and safety. I would be if I were in their position, but they weren't very interested. But they were always making it, from what I understood, and I could feel it, they were making it very difficult to have proper staffing in terms of Secret Service.
I'm not saying that they wanted you to get shot, but do you think it was okay with them if you did?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of hatred. I don't know why. I had a great presidency. We had the best economy we've ever had. We had job numbers that were unbelievable. And then you had bounce back jobs. The jobs after a pandemic, they call it bounce back. All pandemics, whenever you have something like that, an event, you have a bounce back. As it gets better, you bounce back. And they like to try and claim those jobs, but those are our jobs. We had a tremendous president. We rebuilt the military. We knocked out ISIS. I had no wars. So many things we did. Largest tax cuts ever, which is what gave us the great economy, by the way. Largest regulation cuts. We were choking with regulation. But when you do things like that, the other side that disagrees with that, or for whatever reason doesn't want to do it, there's a lot of hatred is generated.